All right. Hello and happy Wednesday from GAPS Training. Hope everyone is having a really great hump day. It is a sunny, beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest, so it's always a beautiful day when it's sunny here. We get a lot of clouds and rain, so I'm really happy to have the sun and to be out in it and play. But I wanted to stop and just take an opportunity to connect with you all and tell you a little bit about our trainings and what we offer. So I know that everybody is getting ready to kind of maybe start school with your kids, or you're thinking about getting kind of back into the groove now that summer is coming to a close. Not that I'm rushing it. I still want it to be around too, but you're kind of getting that mindset where you're thinking maybe I should, pursue some more professional development. I'm really, known as like that, the gut health expert in my family, and how can I make that a career? So I wanted to stop by and talk to you a little bit about that and a little bit about GAPS and who we are. So this might be TMI, but whenever you're in the shower and you're just kind of letting the water run, you have shower thoughts, right? So I had a lot of shower thoughts today about what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So I made some notes, but that I wanted to share with you. So first, I'm guessing you're here because you either know Dr. Natasha and her brilliant work. You've either read her books or you've seen her many lectures, YouTube, podcast interviews, or that you're beginning to realize the connection between the integrity of the microbiome and its impact on your overall health. So can meat stock and natural fats and full fat dairy and ferments and a natural lifestyle save the world? Well, we think it can, and we have a collection of ever-growing testimonies that unequivocally say yes. We have testimonies from everybody that has done GAPS by themselves or that have gone through and seen a CGC, which is a GAPS coach or a GAPS practitioner, and they have guided them through the protocol to see this transformation happen in their health. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what GAPS is, because truly GAPS is a complete protocol, and it can be very transformative to a person. It's so much more than just soup, which is a common belief, and I kind of wanted to demystify that. So let's begin by talking about what GAPS is. So GAPS is about connection with our food. Think about what a miracle that is. We are the only planet that we know of that is positioned perfectly to allow plants, animals, and humans to exist. Our life-sustaining sun allows microbes to exist, to nourish our soils, that allows a seed to grow and a plant to sprout that captures that life-giving energy. How are we able to capture that energy ourselves as humans? Did you know that the only thing that on this planet that can digest microbes are plants? No, that's totally just reverse that. Did you know that the only thing that can digest plants on this planet are microbes? That's what I wanted to say. So a ruminant animal has been designed with a special stomach that is full of these wonderful microbes that digest and ferment those plants, breaking them down and allowing the animal to absorb them. We then capture that energy through absolute love, respect, and dignity by consuming that animal, as our stomach is perfectly designed to break down animal proteins. GAPS really highlights this delicate balance and brings attention to the importance of respecting that cycle of life. GAPS is also connection with family and friends. So we encourage you to disconnect from technology. We encourage you to cook together. We encourage you to play outside with your family, with your children. We encourage you to take a hike with your friends, enjoy swimming in natural waters, just really disconnecting from technology and connecting with those around you. We also encourage you to share the information that you're learning, share food, prettiest, wonderful, delicious food with those that you love and those that you want to see nourished and well. It is about connection with your environment. So we teach you to eliminate toxins all around you. Our world is full of toxins. And we teach you how not only to eliminate them, but to replace them with natural alternatives. And then we encourage you to always be detoxing. So we have multiple ways that we teach you to detox, whether it's detox baths or the sauna or sunbathing, grounding outside. Just so important for your system to help regulate and cleanse. And then we also encourage you to sync up with your circadian rhythm. So the circadian rhythm is, it's integral to our body. It's built in that we are designed to sleep at night and we get up with the sun, and all of our hormones and everything are released on a timer. It's built in within our cells. And so we teach you to honor that cycle and that system by getting outside first thing in the morning and getting your feet on the ground and your eyes in the sun. And then we have you go to bed. We have you turn off artificial lights at night. So really honoring that system that's built in. We want you to connect with yourself as well. GAPS is all about connection with yourself. So learning to listen and really read your body and know what your needs are. And you start to really think about your symptoms as your body speaking to you, and you become an expert in those symptoms and are able to efficiently navigate what your body needs in that moment. So whether it's needing more fat, whether it's needing sleep, whether you need to sit outside and ground because you haven't been outside all day and you just need to sit, breathe, and relax. You begin to recognize those symptoms and what your body responds to best. So that's something that we take into consideration. And then GAPS is all about the food. Can we talk about that for just a second? Because can you imagine a menu full of perfectly cooked pastured meats, beautiful full-fat dairy, lively ferments, colorful seasonal vegetables and fruits, soothing stocks, and nourishing fats? That's what GAPS is. It's so much more than soup. It's full of traditionally prepared, whole, great food. And as Chef Monica would say, GAPS is French cooking without the bread. And if you haven't joined her Facebook page, Ask the GAPS Chef, Monica Corrado, I highly suggest you do. She has lots of great information on there as well. She is our resident GAPS chef instructor for both of our training courses. So GAPS is really about honoring the food that we take in to nourish and cleanse our body. And then it's taking time-honored cooking techniques that have been lost for generations and bringing them back into every home, and in the kitchens, and getting families back in there and cooking together and creating memories, sharing stories, just this beautiful dance of delicious food and relationship. Okay. And just for an example, like if you think that you can't eat dairy because it just doesn't agree with you, I would challenge you to hang in for just 1 second, because we have a dairy introduction structure that we teach. It's also in the books, but we teach these little nuances to help you interpret what your body needs from the structure. So that is what sets GAPS apart. We support the body to heal so the body can heal the digestive system and cleanse. This means that there may be a good chance that you can introduce dairy into your diet through a designed protocol called the Dairy Introduction Structure. It's a step-by-step process that we teach. Most people will be able to introduce dairy. So we take the most easily digested dairy, which is fatly ghee, and then we work our way up. So we teach you how to go through that structure and how to guide a client through that structure. I would say that GAPS is transformative. We have lots of testimonies from people that just have healed, their body, and that have been able to do things that they never thought possible. And that leads us into GAPS is hope. GAPS brings back that hope that may have been lost. It's, people go to mainstream media, they get a diagnosis, they get you have to take this pill and manage the symptoms and there's no cure. But we challenge that and we give people hope where there may not have been. And we see lots of transformations happen, and it's such a wonderful thing. So I wanted to talk about our trainings. With that being said, if you're thinking about diving into the training to learn more about GAPS, to learn more about the protocol, I would encourage you to register and enroll in our upcoming fall sessions. We are excited to hold those. They are coming up in September. So the CGP is September 12th, it begins. And then the CGC, which is the GAPS coach, is October 11th is when that begins. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to talk to you about each training. So first, I'll let you know what they have in common. So each of the GAPS trainings are held within the GAPS training portal, which is our online learning platform. It is very user-friendly. I've worked in a couple now, and this is by far my favorite. So if you're not a little tech savvy and a little, apprehensive, I would encourage you to just, be confident that you have support through me. And also the portal has a lot of help in the Help Center as well. So I will be with you every step of the way. I don't know if I introduced myself because I just dived right in, or dove right in. My name is Jennifer Davis. I am the Admissions and Student Experience Coordinator here at GAPS Training. I will be with you every step of the way from when you contact us, wanting to enroll in our trainings all the way through graduation. So I will be there to help you with your studies. I will be there to answer questions about how to use the online training portal, about anything about the curriculum structure, and just kind of the inner workings of the class. So you always feel free to contact me. So we will hold each training through that GAPS training portal. Each training will have a course overview and course outline, and these are documents to help keep you on track and focused in your studies. And then we also offer a course calendar on that GAPS training portal. So the calendar is populated with all of the live events that will happen during the class. It is populated with all of the due dates and the start dates for all of the modules and the individual coursework. So it's very it's very handy to keep you on track. The coursework is broken down into modules. So you will have modules where you will complete each of the topics. So this will include learning objectives for each module, usually quizzes, essays, practical assignments, and then each module will have a variety of articles as well to pull from. And so each class you will have support. So again, that's me. I'm here to answer any question you have and making sure that you're just having a great time and you're in an environment to learn. We also have the GAPS instructors. My dog is in the background. I'm standing on a treadmill and her nails need to be clipped, so she's kind of right there with me. Sorry if you can hear her in the background. The GAPS instructors. So the GAPS instructors are Dr. Natasha and then Chef Monica Corrado. So she will be all things GAPS food and cooking techniques. She is where you go to for any questions while you're in the kitchen making practical food assignments. I think she settled. And then we have Amy Mahali, who is our CGP. She's in clinical practice with her clinic and her Be Well clinic in Colorado. She will be your go-to for any questions about the protocol with just clinical experience. She will really bring that emotional piece for healing as well, because we know under stress or if we're under trauma, we're not able to heal as efficiently. So she will kind of bring that to the forefront and talk about that as well. We also have Linda Patterson, who will join us for the GAPS coach training, and she will be all things fussy eating and mealtime management. If you don't know about Linda Patterson, she took her son Riley, who was diagnosed nonverbal autistic, through the GAPS protocol herself and documented his journey. He is now full grown. He's an adult. He's in the university. I think this is his second year. He is loving it and thriving and healthy. So that's something that she just did for him and gave back to him. She gave back his health and an opportunity to live a full and vibrant life. So she'll share her story and then her years of clinical experience working with children with fussy eating. So that would be in the GAPS coach training. And then we have a little grad webinar once you get into the grad portal that she did for the practitioners that goes over that as well. You'll also have GAPS guides. So these GAPS guides are GAPS mentors that have gone through the program, been in practice, and they have come back to help guide and mentor our new students. So they will be there to answer questions, to share about their experience through the training, as well as share their clinical experience. And then we have a lot of opportunities for live engagement. Those GAPS guides will hold weekly GAPS chats where you'll get to participate if you want. They're voluntary, they're in a voluntary basis. We do record all live events. So if you can't make it because you're in a different time zone, we will put the recording up 24 hours after the live event so you can review those at your convenience. But these GAPS chats are an hour in length. They are held at the same time every week, every specific weekday. So usually that's a Monday or a Tuesday. And they're just an opportunity for you to pop in, interact with your class, get to know people, ask questions to the GAPS guide about the curriculum, what you're going through right now, have them share their experience, whether it was when they were going through the training or in their clinical practice about the protocol. So it's just really a time to kind of get together with your classmates. You can pop in, pop out. It's very casual. And then we have webinars. So we have Q&A webinars with the GAPS instructors, and that will be Dr. Natasha and then Chef Monica and Amy Mahali for the CGP, the GAPS Practitioner Program. And then we'll also have a webinar with Linda Patterson for the GAPS Coach. But these webinars are a pre-selected date throughout the trainings, and they will be an opportunity for you to ask questions to the instructors about what you're learning in the curriculum, about their clinical experience, anything that you have a question about the GAPS protocol. They're there to answer your questions. And those are 2 hours in length. And again, we record these sessions. So if you can't make it, because we know that our student base is all around the world, feel free to watch the recording at your convenience. And then we have forums. So these forums are, we have multiple that you can go and ask. You can have student discussions with your fellow students. You can ask questions to the instructors on those forums. And when we have those Q&As, that's where your questions will go. And then we'll answer those on the live Q&As. But you can ask questions throughout the training course as well, and these instructors will answer. We also have forums for the GAPS guides in case you have questions for them. And then we have the forums with a bunch of different resources that will help enhance your GAPS journey. So that's another way that we have engagement. So both training courses will have practical assignments, and this looks like food assignments. We have you'll be making the GAPS foods. So Chef Monica will be grading those and make sure you get all of the little nuances to make you successful in the kitchen. So you'll be making meat stock and yogurt and sauerkraut, bikavas. You'll make a whole GAPS meal for you and you have to share it with somebody else and let us know about your experience. So you'll be like hands-on in the kitchen, really diving into these GAPS foods and these cooking techniques, so you feel confidence when you go out into the world and teach these to your clients. We also have you go through a 21-day intro diet. So since we're asking clients to go through the intro diet, we want you to have firsthand experience on what that feels like, what your thoughts are, what your symptoms were, what were your challenges, what were your successes. We really want you to understand what it is you're asking a client to go through. And so we have you for 21 days go through the intro diet and journal your experience. So you can have a deep understanding of that process. We also have you do a practical enema assignment. So we want you to buy an enema kit, and then during the course, we'll ask you to do one enema, cleansing enema, and just journal your experience. Just tell us about, what were the challenges, what were the successes of that experience. So again, you know exactly what it is you're asking your client to do, and so that you can effectively navigate any and troubleshoot any issues that they have. Or you can say, oh no, that's normal, or just really provide them with confidence on how to administer an enema. We also have both trainings go through a client's consultation. So this will look like attaining a practice client and guiding them through a protocol. So you want to onboard them with clinical paperwork. You want to kind of go through and tell them about the protocol and what it was all, what it all entails. So they're fully up to speed on what they're about to embark on. And then you will help guide them through the GAPS protocol and also any detox protocols that you want to incorporate with them to help manage die-off. So you'll go through that whole process as you go through the training, and then we'll have you turn in your final client assignment, where you will turn in a meta-analysis telling us a little bit about how you found the process, what would you do differently, what were your key takeaways. So that has been really valuable to our students as well. Each training will get a couple of PowerPoint presentations from Dr. Natasha and her team. So Dr. Natasha has prepared PowerPoint presentations to go along with her lecture videos. And Amy Holly has prepared PowerPoint presentations for her lecture videos, along with Linda Patterson for the GAPS coach. And then Chef Monica Corrado has prepared kitchen wisdom PowerPoints that she shares with the students so that you can really solidify those cooking techniques. All right, and so each training will also get GAPS guide slides, which we just added to the GAPS coach training. So these GAPS group slides are done for you, PowerPoint presentations that you can take and hold small GAPS groups within your practice to have lectures about specific GAPS topics, have those meetings, and so you can kind of educate a wide range of people at one time instead of answering individual questions. It's also a great way to build community and really get that supportive network going within your practice amongst your clients as well. So those are that is something that you'll get. Each training course will have business resources. We do offer a little bit of business resources within the training, but after, in the grad portal, you'll have a whole business webinar series by Jessica Pantermule, who is the owner of Holistic Entrepreneurship Association. So she goes through how to find your niche, business setup, and kind of beginning of marketing yourself. So that is available to you. And then each training course will have articles, client handouts that have been done for you that you can go and take into your practice as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the differences. So CGP, a certified GAPS practitioner. So in order to enroll in our practitioner training, you must meet certain qualifications, and those are you must have extensive study in anatomy and physiology, biochemistry, and nutrition. So that is something that Dr. Natasha has put as a requirement for entry. You also need to be in active practice. So you need to be actively seeing clients with your own consultation process that you'll bring into the training, and with your own client intake forms and assessment forms. And then, so this CGP training is open to doctors. It's open to anyone that has those requirements met. We would love to have you. So what the difference is in what you kind of get during the training is the CGPs, the practitioners, will get a collection of case studies cultivated by Dr. Natasha. So these are from her personal collection that she shares with you to kind of give you an insight on how working the protocol through different health conditions can look like. So you get an inside look of how she worked the protocol, her first steps and what she did, how she adjusted, and what the outcome was. You also get a GAPS practitioner manual, and this will help you to implement the GAPS protocol with your clients. You'll get a best practices protocol guide. Now, this is a collection of best practices protocols that we have gathered when we had our in-person conference with our CGPs. So they have compiled those into a guide for you, so you can have that. And then a client workbook that you can give to your client to help them be successful on their journey, to answer any frequently asked questions, to keep them on track. So that is great as well. So in our certified GAPS coach training, so we require any students that enters our certified GAPS coach training to be a GAPS veteran. So this is a person that has implemented the diet or the protocol with themselves or with somebody else, like a child or a family member or a friend, for at least a year. So they have a really solid understanding of what it all entails to go through the GAPS protocol. They have been, they've had some successes, maybe some setbacks, and they've really gone to self-study and troubleshooted, and they have, come through on the other side, and they just want to make a career out of this. So if you're somebody that has had success on the GAPS protocol, you've seen how it works, how it can be transformational, and you want to take that next step and you want to make this a career, then the GAPS coach is a perfect place for you. We also have paraprofessionals come in. So chiropractors or massage therapists, somebody that wants to add the GAPS protocol into their existing practice as a specialty, they are also qualified to enroll. And so some of the special things that you get in the GAPS coach training will be a fussy eating mealtime management module. This includes that case study that I was talking about with Riley, Linda Patterson's son. So she guides you through that module, step by step, what she did, what she would do differently. Like I said, she documented everything. So there's videos in there. So if you really want to work with children, or if you really want this knowledge to work with adults, because fussy eating can happen in adults too. And this, we base it on ABA therapy, and it can be applied to adults as well. You also get a client consultation process. And this is different than the practitioner, because practitioners are already coming to us in practice, and they already have an established client consultation process that they bring into the training. So the coaches, some of them don't have this process because, like I said, they're GAPS veterans. They just really want to take that first step and make it a career. So we provide that client consultation process, client intake forms, client assessment forms, client handouts, and we teach you how to use each document. So that is something that's really great in the GAPS coach training. Okay. And I just wanted to let you know that we have a few enrollment specials going on. So early bird is still in full swing for our CGP and CGC training. So if you pay full tuition by August 12th for your enrollment in the CGP training, the practitioner training, you will receive $200 off your tuition. And if you pay your tuition in full by October 10th for the GAPS coach training, you'll also receive $200 off tuition. And we also have an enrollment bonus. So this enrollment bonus is for all of our students who enroll in the training courses, both training courses. It is a showcase of our OnCon, which is our annual online conference that we hold each year now. So this is a collection of over 19 hours of speaker presentations from our OnCons from 2021 through 2024. So you will get that as an enrollment bonus as well. So this way you can kind of see what it looks like to attend the conference, what the caliber of information that is shared, and maybe you'll join us for our next one. They're really fun events that we get to hold every year. We look forward to it. We plan all year. We all get excited. We meet every Monday and we talk about it throughout the year. And it's such a great event for our community to get together and to share and to just learn. This year is about metabolic health that we're really excited about. So you will have access to the platform for not only the length of the conference, but about 8 months after that as well. So it's truly a great event. A lot of heart and love goes into it each year, and we're really excited to hold it for you guys. And with that said, if anybody enrolls in one of our trainings, they are entered into our raffle. So we do a raffle for both the GAPS practitioner training and the GAPS coach training, and we will pick a winner for a free OnCon ticket. So anybody that registers for our classes will be entered to win a free OnCon ticket for this year, which is happening at the end of February, the beginning of March. Okay, I think that's kind of what I had to share. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I know a lot of questions are, can I complete this at my, complete the course at my own pace? Yeah, if you can complete the coursework at your own pace within the guidelines of the course outline. So we give you about a week to 2 weeks for each module. And when you complete that module within that week is up to you. But we do ask you to stay in within those that course outline, because we want you to stay on track so that when we have live Q&As, you are in the section that we are, and you'll know exactly what the questions are being asked, and the answers will make sense. But if you find yourself behind a little bit or ahead, that's okay, because we know everybody is in different schedules. But we do ask that you try and stay within that course outline. But when you complete the assignments, will be up to you. And then I know how long is the trainings? So the CGP, the GAPS practitioner training, is a 12-week program, and we run it from September until December for the fall. I say fall because I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, but if you do that, because we hold trainings twice a year. So the first one will be September through December, and then the second one we hold in March. It'll be March through June. So the GAPS coach training is October through January, and then April through July. And we're just finishing up our last CGC training. I'm finishing grading as we're speaking. So they're getting ready to get their certificates and go off into the world and make a huge difference in their community and spreading the word of GAPS. So we're really excited to see them off, and big congratulations if anybody is watching. I feel like, I know we had our team meeting yesterday, and they were saying about me being a mother hen, and I really fully feel that role. Like, I feel like I get to know all of the students throughout the training. And we talk through messaging, or we talk on the webinars. And it's just, you all come with such beautiful stories, such beautiful challenges that you have overcome or you're working to overcome. And I know that I often share that, especially parents, but even for yourself, like parents, or if you're trying to heal yourself, you will do more research than the FBI does. You will not stop. You will always learn or try to seek the truth about your health, and know that it is your birthright to have vibrant health and wellness. And that's what we try and give to you as well. So
Jennifer, we have a question. Hi, everybody. I'm off camera. This is Caroline from GAPS. I'm tech today, and I'm helping Jennifer behind the scenes. We hope everybody's enjoying this informational live open house. Okay, so Jennifer, Raw Kabadi, I don't know the name, would like to ask would a PTA, a physical therapist assistant, be eligible for practitioner or coach?
It depends. If it's just a physical therapy assistant, I would say it was more towards a GAPS coach that you would be qualified for. If you have additional training in nutrition, depends on if you met the biochem, requirements, we'd have to kind of look into that. But I think from my understanding, it would lean more towards a GAPS coach.
Yes, I believe because are you able in your state with your license as a physical therapy assistant or therapist assistant, are you able to recommend nutritional recommendations? Are you able to give people a plan, a meal plan or dose with supplements or things like that? So you'd have to have that extra layer, but I think you're right, Jen, it would fall under the coach category. So, and then Chatter Jopujare, I'm probably butchering that name. Please forgive me. All patients dealing forms, assessment forms, and stuff you mentioned already available for the coaching program. Are they available for the CGP program? I'm enrolled for CGP.
Okay, so we don't offer the client consultation process for CGP because our students are already in practice and have that client consultation process in place. I don't know if it's something that we could offer if they don't, but usually people come to us with a client consultation process already in place with clients' intake forms and assessment forms. So that's something that we offer exclusively in the GAPS coach training.
Yes, and Jennifer, if someone in the practitioner training, I would think really needed some help with that. Let's say they were just starting an active practice and they had a process in place. They had an intake form, they had a confidential questionnaire or a food journal, and they would say, you know what? Do you have something more specific geared towards GAPS? I'm sure we could share that with them and
Absolutely.
possibly make some practitioner forms like that as well. But like Jennifer said, when you're coming in as a practitioner, we do expect that you already have your client patient consultation process in place. And but if you need to enhance it, I'm sure Jennifer could share the coach setup with you, and then you could kind of design your own from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be happy to share what we have for a CGP student. Also, so I forgot where I was going to go with that. So our GAPS practitioners, so they're already in practice. They are already seeing clients. So they're adding these GAPS, the GAPS principles, the GAPS protocol into the fold of their already existing practice. So that's kind of how we present the GAPS protocol to them, is that they just kind of, they incorporate and marry it into their procedure already.
And she further says, Chatter does, she says, I do have an assessment form and a process, but really nothing specific pertaining to GAPS. So I was just wondering, and I think it's a really valid question. And what we can do, Jennifer, is maybe offer up there's a report that Dr. Natasha gives to our practitioners. And it's sort of something that you compile after you
Mhm.
see a GAPS patient or client. And you can use that as very much a way to design your own intake forms. So, for example, if you were to look at the report and you were to say, okay, all these different sections of a report, I could extract questions and formulate questions from this report to add into my existing intake forms and client consultation process. So, Chatter, we do have ways for you to understand how to work with all the forms that you have now and integrate gaps into that just from that report that Dr. Natasha I think there's two reports, Jennifer, right?
Mhm.
There's two examples and they're very comprehensive. If you were to read through there, you could, like I said, extract and formulate questions to fit right into your current assessment. Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially if you're coming from, a traditional medical background, we, in the lens of a GAPS client, we will go way more in depth, asking questions about, what kind of laundry detergent, what kind of household products do you use? How much time do you spend out in the sun? How much time do you spend exercising? How much do you do any detoxing? Things like that. We really get to know the client and their lifestyle. So in that report, I think the first one is 22 pages, and then the other one I think is 13 pages because one goes through the full GAPS diet and intro, and one just goes through full GAPS. So they're very comprehensive. You can definitely build not only client intake forms off of that and design your own and put your own brand on there, but you can also design client handouts based on the information on there. So you can kind of develop a client resource handout based on your local community on where to find the GAPS, GAPS foods, so connecting your clients with farmers and connecting with them with local food artisans that are just honoring the products they're making, connecting them with resources for natural products, making recipes for natural products. A lot of us just use baking soda or borax for washing, and vinegar for our laundry. We wash our hair with egg yolks and rinse with apple cider vinegar and maybe a little bit of honey. So you can take that full report and really build off of it and really have a lot of robust client handouts and intake form from that report.
Great.
Yeah.
And back to Raw. I don't know her name, but Chatter was Pooja. So that was Pooja
Yes.
asking about the assessment.
Yeah.
And then Raw, I'm not sure of your name. She says she is a personal trainer. Yes, she's a physical therapy assistant and a personal trainer. And the personal trainer program that she took says that does allow her to give out nutritional and lifestyle recommendations. So we would
Oh.
have to see. We would have to
Mhm.
see what I think. Raw, what we would probably need from you, Jennifer, would need to see what was covered in your personal training program for the nutritional part. So we'll just, it's a case by case basis, right, Jennifer?
Yep, I was just going to say that actually. Yeah, if you don't mind, you want to email me and connect with me, you can email me directly at jennifer@gapstraining.com, and I'd be happy to look over the training that you did, and we can discuss your qualifications because it really is a case by case basis. One person can, have a piece of have their formal education, have a piece over here and get it, and, continue on to have another formal education, have a piece over here. So it's really is a case by case basis. And I'm absolutely happy to talk to you about your qualifications and which program, we can talk about which program kind of resonates with you too. If you wanted to do more food aspect, if you really wanted to be in the step-by-step day-to-day with your client, a GAPS coach might be a good fit for you. If you wanted to work in a clinical setting and, kind of see clients and then check in on them, deal more with supplements and everything like that, GAPS practitioner training would be a good fit for you then. So I'd be happy to discuss, and anybody can use that email address, Jennifer, JENNIFER @gapstraining.com, and I'd be happy to talk to you about your qualifications and what program might resonate with you.
And Jennifer, I put that in your email into the chat.
Awesome.
And also, Ra's name is Annabelle or Annabelle, so I just can't see the name. His Instagram IDs are pretty weird. Yes, they are. They are.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
So
funny.
I have a couple of other questions here that we typically have asked. Do you want me to just feed them to you a little bit and maybe have
Yeah.
that would help people? Okay, so how many students are typically enrolled in a GAPS training course in each course? So coaches and practitioners.
So typically a class looks like between 30 and 40 students. We usually don't do more than 40 because we want you to have, as you know, we want to be able to give you as much individual attention as possible when grading your assignments, give you feedback on your assignments, allow you to ask questions in the Q&A. So we really try and keep the class to about 40 students. And that way everybody's experience is really great. They have access to the instructors, they have access to the GAPS guides, and we're able to provide that really great comprehensive feedback on your assignments to ensure that you're getting what you need from the training and that you have a really solid understanding of the GAPS nutritional protocol. Now you feel confident to go out there and work with clients and just change the world. Like, it really is world changing. And I really do believe that we can save the world with meat stock. I'm a believer. So
I agree. I just sent a selfie to a friend of mine who hired me for some side work with my singing, and I'm 53 years old, and I didn't have a filter or anything on, and she just said, "What's your secret? You don't have a lot of wrinkles. I just don't even understand. You look a lot younger than you actually are." I said, "Meat stock. Meat stock provides all the building blocks, and then you've got the vitamin C in sauerkraut. So GAPS is really anti-aging. So when you have that collagen and vitamin C, because vitamin C is really important for the production of collagen, you do age differently on meat stock. I'm telling you, folks, if you get meat stock now, that's not bone broth. We're not talking bone broth here.
no.
Totally different. We're talking meat stock. Meat stock is a short cook. So let's say you have a thawed chicken, a fresh chicken. You put it in the pot with some water, just cover it enough that you're not going to have it too dilute. You're going to have enough meat to water ratio that will give you a nice gelatinous meat stock, right?
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes that means that it doesn't cover your meat fully, but if you cut up the pieces of the chicken instead of put the whole thing in, you can cover it up enough that you'll have a nice concentrated meat stock. And then put some peppercorns in there, put some herbs in a sachet, whatever you can tolerate on your diet. And then about maybe an hour and a half to 3 hours maximum, bring it to that high heat, and then let it simmer, lower it down, bring it all the way up, and then let it simmer. And I usually go for around 2 hours, and I drink at least three to 4 cups a day. You're supposed to drink 5, but I also have a bowl of soup or 2, so I get that 6 or 7 in, actually, I think. And I just meat stock is grounding. It makes you feel satisfied. Your cortisol levels go down, and that's part of aging as well. So yeah, meat stock is amazing. I agree with you. It is definitely anti-aging, Jennifer.
Yeah, and I've made chicken broth before. I've made bone broth too, and I've made chicken broth before. But when I learned how to make meat stock from Chef Monica, that's when I saw the gel. Like, I opened up the next morning and it was jelly, like it was Jello, like
Yes.
that consistency, and it was just beautiful. And the taste is like, it's not comparable because like, people might like bone broth. I personally didn't. I had to do a lot to cover up the taste. Like, I had to add a lot. I literally just add. I make mine my chicken meat stock with drumsticks. So I'll buy a whole bunch of drumsticks. I'll put it in a pot with some water, 2 inches. I will add onions, carrots, and peppercorns and salt, and then just let it cook for 2 hours. And it is so delicious. And I add a pat of butter or ghee in there, and it's really good. And I drink it all year round, whether it's hot or I know some people make like meat stock popsicles. I haven't ventured into that yet, but that is definitely something that people do. So you can try that out. But yeah, it's kind of replaced my morning coffee, which it makes me feel a lot better. It soothes my digestive system and it really primes it for eating for the rest of the day. I find instead of hyping up my system artificially and just all the acid that coffee brings to my body, the meat stock really just is really soothing and, like you said, grounding, and it's just a beautiful way to start the day after my lemon water. Of course, that's what I drink first, but yeah, it's replaced my morning coffee. Yeah,
that's a great campaign right there. To replace your morning coffee with meat stock.
Right, I need a meat stock mug.
Right. So I have another question here. Is the investment, the cost of the required reading books, is that included in tuition or is that separate or extra?
It is separate and extra. We do give you a list of vetted vendors that you can buy the books from, but you are free to purchase them from wherever you like, and that is a separate cost from the tuition. So you can buy them from the vendors that the list of vendors that we give to you. But if you're at your local thrift store, your local thrift bookstore, Goodwill, sometimes you get lucky and you find them, and that's how I got multiple copies for me so I can hand them out. But or if you find them online on eBay or one of the online bookstores, feel free to buy them from there, and so you can help to cut costs and stuff too.
Great. And then another question, upon enrollment, when do I gain access to the GAPS training portal as a student?
Perfect. So so whenever you sign up, everybody will gain access at the same time. And usually it's the Wednesday before class begins. So that way you can kind of explore the training portal, get familiar with it, view the welcome series. We have a welcome series for you in Module 0. It's a video presentation to go over class expectations. I'll wait for Lucy to settle. She's sitting on my treadmill and then she'll move and you can hear her nails. Our welcome series is a video series that goes over course expectations, course structure. It goes over Zoom etiquette. It goes over, the 6 healthy habits of a student. So you learn all of that information up front. You can set up your student profile and you can put up your student introduction so you can get to know your fellow classmates and they get to know you. And then on Friday, we'll have our kickoff call. Now for the practitioner training, it will be on September 12th, Friday, September 12th. And then for the, September 12th or 13th. Oh, hold on. I'll look. I have my handy dandy 13th. Sorry about that. I have my course outline pulled up. So for the practitioner training, it will be Friday, September 13th. That will be our first day with our kickoff call. And but you'll gain access that Wednesday. And then the CGC, the GAPS coach, it will be on Friday, October 11th. And let me make sure that I'm.
And that's a Zoom meeting, correct?
Yeah, all of our webinars, even our GAPS chats are Zooms. So you have a lot of face-to-face during this training with your GAPS guides and your GAPS instructors.
Are they recorded?
They are recorded. So yeah, all of our live events, whether it's a chat, whether it's a Q&A webinar or a GAPS guide webinar, they are all recorded and they are put up on a special form called Webinar Recordings Form. And that's where we put everything that you can go ahead and download to watch at your convenience if you missed it, or you can just keep it for your personal library, because I guarantee that when you go back to watch it, you'll be in a different place in your education and you go, oh, that makes sense now. And you'll have light bulb moments that you missed the first time. I know I do. I have a hard drive of every single class that I've done, all of the Q&As and chats. And that sometimes I just put them on while I'm working and like, oh yeah, I remember that now. Okay. You're just getting flooded with so much great information that sometimes you're in a different place. And when you go and watch it again, you're like, oh yeah, no, I remember that. Or you can say, we talked about this on a Q&A. Let me go back and see what, Amy Mahali said about this, because, you have a client that presents with a certain health condition and you realize, okay, no, that's what we were talking about in the training. Let me go back and listen to what she says. So you have her knowledge and expertise, at your fingertips whenever you need to refer back to.
And Pooja says, will we get an email before the training starts that gives us all of the important information, like links and where to go and what to do and what to have, and maybe some attachments too? I know you send out something super comprehensive, Jennifer. So
yes. So the Monday before course begins, you will get an email from me, and it'll have your course outline, course overview, your next steps for that week. So it'll have the tutorial to go over how to log into the GAPS training portal. It'll go over how to navigate, just kind of basically how to navigate to the forums, to your calendar, to your account profile, and to the messaging system, so that you're confident how to navigate it before class begins. So that way you can, and then it tells you what you needed to complete before class starts. So that would be like, completing your student profile, putting up your bio, watching the webinars or the welcome series. So that way you get all of that admin out of the way, so that when Friday we have our kickoff call and you get to face-to-face meet all your fellow students, and you get to meet me, and Chef Monica usually makes an appearance as well and introduces herself, that you are just ready to go that weekend and to jump into module 1 and start your training, because it goes really fast. That too, I always say. So you'll just be set up for success and just be ready to jump into your studies and learn all things GAPS. So,
Jennifer and I worked for many years at other companies, and we saw where the holes were and what the students weren't getting before they started. And we sat down and we looked at from the perspective of a student, what would a student need to feel confident moving forward and to start the training? And I think we crossed all of our T's and dotted all of our I's in that area, and even then some, just to make sure, because people have different learning styles. Sometimes they are more visual, sometimes they are more auditory, sometimes they need to do something kinesthetically to have that muscle memory. So we spent a lot of time thinking, okay, if we have some kind of video welcome, and that's video offers the visual and the auditory, and then we have do something, go here, go there, direct them around the training portal, so they have to go there to complete something, to have that muscle memory, to take that action. So we've addressed all the learning styles. And Jennifer, we have another question. Is offline access available? Do you have an app for the course, or do I have to log in through a web browser to do my work?
So the wonderful thing is, in order to submit your work, you have to be online and submit it within the GAPS training portal. But the course overview that we supply to you, or we give to you at the beginning of the course, has everything. Has everything included that you'll need to do. It has all of your required reading, including page numbers. It has the essay questions. It has the module objectives. It tells you what's coming up as far as practical assignments. Like, say you're in week 2 and it says you need to make meat stock. So okay, I need to make a shopping list because this week I need to make meat stock, yogurt, and creme fraiche. So you can really do a lot of work offline and do a lot of planning, and just type up a Word document and then attach that file to the GAPS training portal when you're ready to that assignment. The only thing that you would have to do online exclusively would be to complete the quizzes, because we have some multiple choice quizzes, or to submit questions or interact with the instructors. Yeah.
And is there an app? Is there a Matrix app? Our learning system?
Was there one for?
There's not one for Indy, but I believe there's one for
Matrix. Yeah. Okay. I was making sure I wouldn't get that. Yeah. If there is one for Matrix Learning, that I can send that information out. I will make a note actually because that would be good information to have on the welcome email you'll get on Monday. So
Yes.
yeah.
And let's see, let's talk about, there's a couple of other questions here. Do students and graduates receive any discounts for any GAPS online events like GAPS OnCon or anything like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know, Caroline, you could probably talk to that a little bit better. I know students receive student pricing for GAPS OnCon.
Yes, so we always offer a discount to our graduates. So let's say, for example, if the early bird ticket for OnCon, which is a 4-day GAPS online conference, OnCon is short for online conference, we usually our early bird is usually between 169 and 189, and then our graduates never pay more than 129 or 139. So I believe it's a 25%
Mhm.
discount off the already almost 50% discount for the early bird. So we always tell our students, jump in, get your ticket early bird for early bird, because then it's really discounted from the regular price ticket, not the early bird ticket. So yeah, we do offer discounts there. And then other things for discounts I know that we have in place are for tuition in general. Before you become a student, we've got that early bird discount, and we offer, sometimes we have some specials that we run periodically for a promotional discount as well. So just check with Jennifer for those kinds of discounts. Other than that, I know we have our graduate portals. So when you're a student, you seamlessly move and graduate from the learning system to the grad portal. And the grad portal, you have your first year free in the grad portal. After that, it's $99, but you can come back as a GAPS guide, like Jennifer was talking
Mhm.
about, and receive another free year. We run promotions to have a free membership or a 6-month membership. So we're always looking at ways to incentivize people to get involved. And then as a reward for getting involved, you receive discounts. So I think that's something that it's just, the most static one is definitely the discount to the GAPS online conference. And tuition discounts are always available as well. But the other things kind of come and go as we promote and make them available to our graduates.
Absolutely. And I will say too, especially if you register for September class, I will put up a notice in class announcements when that early bird special is for our OnCon for in February, and how much the ticket and where to buy. So you'll have all that information too when it becomes available. I'll make sure to put that up. And I'll say too, if you find yourself, if you register for class, and even before class begins, if you have questions or you're in class and just can't figure out how something works in the portal, I am here the whole time, and I am more than happy to answer any questions, to get you set up, to get you, confidence in navigating the portal, into, making sure you understand what is expected as far as like the curriculum. If you're having any, life challenges, I'm here to help you, navigate those as well, so that you can complete your certifications. I'm here for you. So always feel free to reach out to me, either the GAPS training portal or my email, and we can work together and figure anything out. So yeah, you won't be alone. It's not like you'll register and you'll be in the GAPS training portal and then you're like, I don't know what to do, and I'm here the whole time, sending you reminders. I'll send you reminders when we have upcoming webinars, when we have chats. I'll send you the links for all of the live events, recordings, and then the GAPS guides will also send you weekly check-ins to let you know where you should be in the course, what's coming up, special for that week, and just to share their experience as a GAPS practitioner or a GAPS coach in those weekly messages. Yeah, so you're here, you're supported. We got you.
Well, that's Jennifer. You are the student experience coordinator, so you are, and you work at admissions as well, and so you get to hold their hand from the very first moment they make contact all the way through the course. And that's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. And then the baton passes over to Jordan, who is our
Mhm.
community outreach coordinator for our graduates. And students who become graduates have support in the grad portal as well. So we
Awesome.
have, does your certification include business development content? I know you kind of went over that with Jessica Pottermule, but you might want to reiterate what they have waiting for them when they're graduates.
Yeah, so during the training, we go over kind of scope of practice. We go over branding and gap and the graduate guidelines. So we have that, and then we have a little presentation by Jessica Panchamiel in there about how to, just kind of the steps to start your GAPS business. And then once you get into the grad portal, we have your GAPS branding. We have, like I was talking about, that business webinar series from Jessica Panchamiel. You can ask questions on the forums. You can collaborate with other graduates too, if you're looking to partner up with somebody. I know that we're working on connecting CGCs and CGPs because both of those complement each other, right? So GAPS practitioners can be in clinic and see clients, and then they can design a protocol for the gap or for the client, and then hand it off to a GAPS coach, and the GAPS coach will see that client through every single step, answering questions. And that's how that kind of relationship can work as well. They can both be standalone, or you can work with a GAPS practitioner and coach in tandem, or you can it's really like you can design this certification however you want. You don't have to just practice one way. You can be all online. You can see groups. You can have do social influencer and just kind of spread the knowledge of GAPS. So it's really limited to just your imagination on how you can use your certification. Yeah.
Very, very true. And then a couple more questions. Let's see. Does taking the Getting Started on GAPS beginner course qualify me to take the coach course?
Um, I think you would need a little. I don't know. What do you think, Caroline?
Well, I know that. So, Getting Started on GAPS is one of our DIY courses, but it is assisted by Amy Mahali, which is one of our instructors. So, I know that you prepare, it's a 6-month course, the Getting Started on GAPS course, and 4 months you practice. You practice fermenting, you practice cooking, you practice getting your home ready. And then for 2 months, you implement what you practiced and you actually start your GAPS journey. So there's prep, practice, and then you go, right? So 2 months of preparation on GAPS, or 4 months preparation and practice, and 2 months wouldn't really give you enough to qualify for the coach training because we do want at least a year or two on either intro, a combo of intro diet and full diet for you to really have the experience to work with others because there's a lot of troubleshooting along the way for each individual within the framework of either the GAPS introduction diet or the GAPS full diet, or any other aspect or spectrum of the diet, which would be no plant, more plant, ketogenic. And there's also coming off the diet, which is where you kind of have a modified full GAPS experience. So there's different protocols and spectrums of the GAPS diet. And to just have practiced for 4 months and then implemented for 2 months, we would want to see at least a year of implementation. So 6 months to a year. So I would say if you did the Getting Started on GAPS course, I would say that if you did the 6 months in that course, add 6 months at least to that experience to give yourself a full year. And then I think you would probably be qualified. But again, it's on a case by case basis,
Mhm.
and Jennifer and Dr. Natasha will determine that. So I think it could be a way to start yourself and kickstart yourself into that, but you would have to add on a little bit more to that experience of the Getting Started on GAPS experience to be qualified for coach, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Let's talk a little bit about refunds and drops because I know life happens, right? So, what is the refund policy if I need to drop the course? Do I sign anything as a student? What does that all entail?
You do. So in your enrollment packet, there is a withdrawal and refund policy. So we have outlined how, if, let me see. Let me actually pull it up right now so I can read off of it because I have everything handy dandy. Blah, blah, blah. There we go. Okay, it's pulling up here. So this document goes over, we know life happens and sometimes like unexpected events may force a student to withdraw from, the GAPS training. So should this happen, we have a policy in place that if you withdraw up to 60 days or more before the start of the training, you will receive the total amount of tuition you have paid minus the $200 administration fee. If you withdraw within 2 weeks of the course, you can choose to have GAPS training hold your tuition for a future training within a year, or you can receive a refund minus $299 for the administration fee. So if you withdraw within 3 to 5 weeks of the training, we will prorate your tuition based on the number of weeks you have completed, minus administration fee of $299. If you choose to withdraw after the first 6 weeks of the training, you will need to refer to your re-entry options, and we can talk about that if that should happen, but no refund will be given at that point. So we really give you enough time to kind of, decide, if, something happens or what, that, you remain in contact with me. We can talk about your options beforehand, see if this is something that you can kind of work through, or if it would be best to kind of drop and re-enter at a different time, or if you would just wanted to receive a refund and you were within that timeline, and then just enroll at a different time when things kind of settle down for you, we can do that as well. So there's definitely options available if life happens. We know that sometimes it does, and we want to work with you because we want to see you earn your certification, but we also want to be respectful of what's going on as well. Give you that support.
Well, it is. And so let's say so we have up to 6 weeks in the program to have a prorated refund minus an admin fee, right?
Yes.
Let's say I drop at the 8-week mark because something really serious happened in my life and I need to drop and re-enter. What does that look like? How long do I have to re-enroll in a future course? Is it indefinite or is there, a time limit?
All the timeline, yes. So if for some reason 8 weeks into the training something happens and you've been a good student and consistent up to that point, and then you've remained in communication with me as far as what's going on, and just something happens, we would be happy to talk about re-entry. We can hold your tuition then. One of the options is to hold your tuition for up to 1 year enrollment cycle. So say you enrolled in September, something happened and you need to re-enroll. So you can either re-enroll in the next March session, or the following September session. So we can hold that for up to a year, a seating class for you. And then if for some reason you're not, you can't, we can do that. We can talk about, something on a case-by-case basis, but really it's just about a year that we allow re-entry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've had some students over the years, they'll drop and then re-enter and then drop and then re-enter. So you only have, I think, what is it, 2 drops and re-entries that you allow?
Yeah, I mean, if extenuating circumstances the second time around, then we usually allow another one, but we try and hold space for just one re-entry. But again, a case-by-case basis, sometimes life it just knocks you down, and a second time. So we try, we really want to support you, and we want to support your professional goals and you as a human being. So we will take you on a case-by-case basis, but usually one or maybe 2 times. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last question we always receive is, when I graduate the coach program, well, actually, there's two more questions, but when I graduate the coach program, can I automatically say, oh, now I want to go take the practitioner program? How does that work?
Yes. So if you take the GAPS coach training and you want to go on to take the practitioner training, the GAPS coach training doesn't automatically qualify you to enroll in the GAPS practitioner training. So the practitioner training, it's really important that your current profession allows you to give nutritional or provide nutritional knowledge to your client. So you would want to know the laws in your area. And for the United States, a great way to do that is advocacy. What is it? nutritionadvocacy.org.
Yes.
So that is a great website to kind of see the laws to practice nutrition in your state. Because sometimes, depending on professions, you're not allowed to. And a GAPS coach wouldn't qualify you to practice nutrition in most states. You would also need to make sure that you have that anatomy and physiology and biochem piece. We don't necessarily go with that in depth in the GAPS coach training with those pieces. So you want to be sure to go on and continue your education in a different approved school that we have a couple of different vetted schools that we recommend people go through to really get that anatomy and physiology and biochem piece and that nutrition piece a little bit, and then be in active practice for a little bit before you enroll in the practitioner training. So if you have a question about you became a GAPS coach, you said, okay, I love this. I really want to take the next step and be a practitioner. I found this school. What do you think? Feel free to send me the link to that school. I will look through it and see if it meets our qualifications. And then you can go on to either do that program or do one of the programs that we recommend to meet the qualifications to enroll in the practitioner program. And then we can enroll you in the practitioner program once you're all graduated from that training and all set up in your practice and you're seeing clients and you're making a difference and you want to take those next steps. Yeah.
So, okay, so then we had something, and I love your profile name. Her name is Beauty and the Beef.
I love it. I love it.
So she says, how would that work in Germany? If in another language. Well, I mean, we are Beauty and the Beef, whatever. I'm not sure what your screen name is because I can only see that. But and I just love that, Beauty and the Beef. But we are working on. We have a German team that was working on translating the GAPS practitioner course into the German language. There was a little bit of a delay with that due to some life circumstances, but in the future, we have it on our list to have the CGP program, the practitioner program, in the German language. Eventually, yes, and I know what you mean. I'm just sort of prefacing this. She said, no, I mean the coach to practitioner. How would that work for German? In Germany, well, you would have to know what your laws are in your area. We would rely on you to tell us, hey, what's going on there are you able to take a course that has this, and this in it? So, hold on. I'm in Germany. The books are already people can get in Deutsch language. Yes, we know the books are already done. We know that. But you're asking how to advance from coach to practitioner. So if you have a school that you can show the curriculum and we could maybe go to the web page and Jennifer could look at it and translate it on Google, Google Translate, or do the translate by browser feature, we could probably look at it and determine that if you wanted to move from a coach to a practitioner, that you would have enough training in that course that we could review and we could move forward from there. So am I correct, Jennifer?
Yep, Absolutely. Yeah, I've looked at courses in Russian and I want to say Swedish. Yeah, Swedish. So it was. I just look at the translate. I can either use DeepL to translate some of the things, or usually there's a little translate button, and I can kind of look and see. And they're actually really nice sometimes to get back to me in English, or we have a whole conversation where we're both translating, and writing each other back to see the qualifications. So definitely working with you. And we have, we're having an ever-growing international department. I didn't even talk about that. It's led up by our own Marcy Larson. She's doing amazing work, and her team translating the GAPS training, the GAPS practitioner training into different languages so that we can even reach more people with this, life-changing knowledge. So we've already translated it into Italian and French and Turkish. So if you English isn't your first language, you can definitely enroll in one of those. We're also working on a few other translations are in the works. So definitely check back to see where we go from here. So definitely trying to reach as many people as possible, and just spreading the word of GAPS, because like I said, it's a birthright. Health is a birthright, and we really truly believe that, and everybody needs to know. It's so confusing with nutritional knowledge nowadays, and it's just really going back to the basics and back to traditional foods, and like Caroline said, we have a spectrum of people. So we have like no plants, which is carnivore is huge right now. That would be like comparable to a no plant GAPS, but it's like enhanced carnivore, right? Because you're drinking meat stock and you're having kefir and you're having nourishing animal fats and stuff. So you're really getting into that gut healing phase, and you're getting rid of your inflammation. You're letting your body calm down. You're cleansing, with the detox protocols. So then you can build back up, and you can introduce vegetables again or fruits again if that was what you wanted to do, or you could introduce all these things again. That's what it's not GAPS isn't a permanent elimination diet at all. We're looking to calm down the system. We're looking to give it a chance and give it the tools it needs to heal itself, to cleanse itself. And then we are reintroducing when the body is ready. And that looks different for everyone, right? So when your body is ready, we're slowly incorporating and challenging it to, have a little bit of fiber, have a little bit of, vegetable, have a little bit of, spices and things like that. So we're working.
We had an interesting question. I'm sorry, I thought you were done. Beauty of the Beef says, and I think this is so timely. Thank you for asking this, because we are just noticing a trend with something, and it's really exciting. How is the demand for coaches? I'm worried that coaches are in the shadow of practitioners, and people are referring out to or prefer reaching out to a practitioner. I see the smile on your face.
I love both trainings. I have a teeny tiny special place in my heart for GAPS coaches, because even though and it's me, because even though I qualify as a CGP, I'm more hands-on, and you can be that way as a CGP too. But if you're in clinical practice and you have already kind of a profession going on, and you're incorporating that GAPS principles and GAPS protocol into your practice, you're doing amazing work. But sometimes you're so busy that you don't have that time to do that hands-on piece that our GAPS coaches can do. And our GAPS coaches are they are step by step, and they are hands in the food, and showing people how to do the detox protocols, do a detox bath, talking about the importance of sunbathing. And I just see the demand for GAPS coaches growing and growing over the next couple of years, because some people need that hands-on piece. People can read Dr. Natasha's books and implement the protocol, but what we offer in the trainings is this really nuanced way of looking at the protocol, because everybody is different. We're all bio individuals. So, we can have some similar, reactions and stuff, but it's really learning to listen to that individual body, reading that individual body, and knowing the appropriate course of action. And that is kind of what we offer in both trainings. But the GAPS coach training, you're kind of in the trenches with that. You're supporting them. You're answering questions and just kind of being there. So you're doing, our GAPS coaches are doing everything from hosting workshops to grocery store or farmers market tours, farm tours. They are hands-on in the kitchen. They are meal service and delivery for people that just don't have the energy to make the GAPS foods, because some people are like that. Some, they want to do this protocol, but they just don't have the energy to. They're too sick. So that's where our GAPS coaches can shine, where they can make these nourishing and cleansing foods for them and deliver it right to their doorstep. They are, having Instagram accounts where they share this GAPS knowledge, and I see the demand for GAPS coaches growing and growing, just like the GAPS practitioners too, because more complex cases, you need to stay in the scope of practice too. The GAPS practitioners will have a level of, a higher level of knowledge of medical conditions, anatomy and physiology. So some of those complicated cases that have multiple layers, like, mold toxicity, heavy metal toxicity, things like that, incorporated with, chronic fatigue syndrome, Lyme, they can go out and they can go on to the practitioners and really have a supplement regimen going on. They can have a deeper protocol that the practitioner will guide them through, but you can also work with the practitioner so they can design that protocol and then give it to the GAPS coach, and you'll have that understanding of not only what they're recommending in their protocol, but how to deliver the protocol and adjust the protocol as necessary. And you can walk through with that patient and their client as well.
Yeah, because there are two different perspectives, Beauty and the Beef. You've got a clinical lens and you have a practical lens. And everybody needs the practical first. Even the clinical people have to do some of the practical stuff first. Then they add on their layer of their clinical testing or their muscle testing or whatever they do in their holistic or medical practice. But what I'm finding is that practitioners, we've been certifying practitioners since 2011. And after a while, you do hit a little bit of a saturation rate, right? So you've got a big spurt of growth that brings in a bunch of CGPs, and then it levels out. And you have the people who understand how important GAPS is, and they're coming into the fold, but they're coming in at a very, I would say, more conservative rate, right? Where the coaches are newer. We only started certifying coaches in 2020. Mm-hmm. So this is brand new, and it's still establishing itself in a certain way, but it's also already established itself that coaches are sort of the heartbeat of the practical side of GAPS, where our practitioners are those, like Jennifer said, very advanced cases that would be outside the scope of the practice of the practical nature of a coach. The practitioners come in and they say, all right, we've done all the practical work and you've made great strides, but now we've got to have that targeted protocol with supplements, herbs, homeopathics, whatever it is. And I've got the training to handle this targeted protocol. Let's say we need to target out a little, some eczema that just is stubborn, that won't go away, and you've gotten almost better, let's say 90% on that more practical side. Now you need something targeted. Is there some kind of parasite we need to test for in the gut? Mm-hmm. Are there toxic metals? And the coach can't do that, but that doesn't mean that the coach didn't lay the foundation for that to work better with the practitioner. So there really is a synergy between coaches and practitioners where we focus on that practical and that clinical side. they kind of bleed over into each other a little bit. There's a blurred area because some coaches have certain levels of skill that didn't qualify them necessarily to become a practitioner, but they're almost there, right? So they can do some things that a coach who doesn't have any of that training can't do, right? So it's really bio individual, the practitioner and coach positions, but we do, like Jennifer said, have a very targeted scope of practice. And we make sure that our coaches are not out there recommending, chelation therapy, and they're not out there recommending that you go buy these, 20 supplements and do this massive supplement protocol, because you have no way to track and monitor and dose and adjust the dose of that information. Now, do you have the book information that Dr. Natasha gives you? Yes. And you can say, okay, let's go to the probiotics section of the book and see, what did Dr. Natasha recommend for probiotics? Let's go with that. A coach can do that easily. But beyond what's recommended in the book, it's a bit of a gray area because some coaches have supplemental training. Others do not. So it depends on what you bring to the table before you're even a coach. That can determine a little bit of what you do. But practitioners truly are the more clinical, clinical stubborn cases. Not everybody has stubborn cases. That's only a percentage of the population. Most of the time, that practical piece completely turns their health around. So the coaches are very valued. And and another layer of this, Jennifer, that some of our international partners and our instructors have said that there's a ton of requests for coach training.
Yep.
That they've got the practitioner training going, but that they have to turn people away from the practitioner training because they're not qualified, because we need to get the coach trainings translated. So this is a problem we're having. So Beauty and the Beef, I really believe that you're riding a wave, and please don't be gutted that you're not qualified for a practitioner.
No.
There's no hierarchy here. There is none. We don't think, practitioners are the best and the coaches come next. They are right on a level playing field because they do completely different approaches to the same protocol. For example, let's say a practitioner has a client base of 100 patients or clients. And they will give their patients and clients a handout. And that handout will say, go make meat stock. Here's a recipe, right? Or go take a detox bath. This is what you need, how many times a week, and here's some notes on that. The coach actually goes and makes the meat stock with the person in their home. It's a big difference, especially if you have a special needs child. Sometimes you need to be in the home with the child if you're going to help really break that fussy eater. It can't happen in a clinical setting. So there are just things by nature that coaches do that are the everyday practical things. And that's the foundation of GAPS. And yes, the practitioners will do those things, but in a different delivery method in their clinic. They may have a coach come in and teach a class. They may have a handout, but they're not going to go to the home. They're not going to handhold to the level of the practical side of a coach.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I love that you said that they have a way, like practitioners, and that's where that scope of practice comes in, because it's always a good either way. If you're a practitioner or you're a coach, it's so great to find your counterpart to be able to refer to, because if you're a practitioner in clinical practice and you don't have time to do that kind of that hands-on piece, having a GAPS coach that is just works well with you, that you can refer your client to either get hands-on in the kitchen. You can even do this virtually with hands-on, in the kitchen too. As a GAPS coach, you can have a Zoom, set up your kitchen and say, okay, send them a list of things they need, and you can make meat stock over Zoom together. Like or you can record a video and send them a video and then have them ask questions. So I really love the piece that you brought up with the practitioners being able to assess and monitor through different kinds of testing that maybe that coach isn't qualified for, or the supplementation piece as well. Just all these kind of different modalities that are available to them. And I will say that I had three thoughts, and that was one. And it just escaped my brain.
That's okay. It'll come back to you. And if
Yeah.
you think of it, if you think of it, you can just put it in the chat and they can come back and check in the chat,
Yeah.
in the feed. So, but
Um,
I think we're at that hour and 30-minute mark.
okay.
So we probably want to wrap up. Is there anything that you wanted to say to wrap it up?
I would just say, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence about enrolling, if you have any questions, feel free again to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you. This has just been so transformative, for so many students, and it just creates such a ripple effect, out in the world, and getting people healthy and letting them, getting back to the communities and local foods, and not being dependent on, mainstream medicine, or, the centralized food system, really getting back to knowing your farmer, to growing your own food, to living a natural lifestyle, connecting again with, the earth, with, your family and friends, with yourself, environment. Is truly enriching and worthy of pursuing. So if you're thinking about it, you have questions about, more about the trainings and what we offer, feel free to shoot me an email. If you're already enrolled, I am so excited to get to know you and to see you through the journey of becoming a GAPS coach or GAPS practitioner. And we're going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to learn so much. And I'm just thrilled that you are diving into that journey with us. And happy Wednesday, everyone. Like I said, reach out to me if you have any questions.
One last question from Beauty and the Beef. Just still love that name.
Love it.
Totally love it. Any spaces left for the October course? Coach
Yes.
course.
Yeah, there is definitely, I think everybody's kind of getting back into that back to school mode. So we have had an uptick, but there are spaces still available. So definitely, if you can pay in full by October, you get that $200 discount off of your tuition. And then, we would love to have you. I'm excited. I want to know the story behind Beauty and the Beef.
I know, right?
Definitely.
Well, what I did was I put your email in the chat, and I'm also putting our website, gapstraining.com, in the chat. It'll pop up just momentarily. But Jennifer, thank you for taking the time and putting your heart into this, because GAPS truly is life transformative on every level. Once you have your health, then all your dreams feel possible.
Yeah.
And so many people feel like their dreams are squashed because they don't have the energy, they don't have the ability to think clearly. They feel a little hopeless. And where there is GAPS, there is hope. There's not one person who cannot turn around their health to a large degree or even completely through the protocols of GAPS. So with that, Jennifer, thank you. And I know you're going to have a lot of people flooding your inbox, so you're going to be busy the next few days with that. But if you have questions, just reach out to GAPS at gapstraining.com or Jennifer at gapstraining.com. Visit our website, because there's so much information there for everybody to surf around and read through. If you have kids, we have the GAPS Youth Movement. Please go look at the blog. Under the resources tab in the main menu, you'll find the gym, GYM, join the gym, GAPS Youth Movement, GYM. You'll find the gym blog, and you'll find the gym podcast on YouTube. So, these get your kids involved in GAPS. And our wonderful intern, Anna, and our GAPS outreach, our gym outreach coordinator, I should say, gym coordinator for the kids is Julia Dolgorova. And they're both 18 years old, and they're amazing. And they're reaching out to the youngsters. So if we can get some GAPS young stars and going and reach that community, please get your kids involved there. We do have GAPSONCon 2025, and that'll be February 27th through March 2nd. And that's a Thursday through a Sunday. So we'll have early bird tickets coming out, September 13th, I think they launch.
So.
And Yeah, and so we've got training courses, online conferences, and guess what? The GAPS podcast will be premiering this October. So we're very excited. Natasha and I are going to take the lead on that, Dr. Natasha, and we're going to have a lot of fun things on that podcast for you to dive into. Lots of wonderful information and guest speakers and all of the above. We're going to use that platform to really showcase GAPS. So with that, Jennifer, thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. And everybody, thank you. And is there anything else you want to say, Jen, before we go?
I do. I remembered one of the things. There is no scarcity of people to help. Our world is, full of people that are looking for answers, that are looking for help with their health. There are people suffering. There are people that just want to be around for their grandchildren. There are people that just want to play with their kids. There are people that just want to, live a more vibrant life. And there is no scarcity of people. So the more people we train and we help, the better this world is going to be, the healthier this world is going to be. And we can make a huge difference. There's plenty of work to go around for everyone. And people can hear the same message, but you are you. You have something to offer, and people resonate with different people. So you have something unique to offer that one person looking for hope, that one person looking for answers. You can tell the GAPS story in such a way from your own personal experience or your clinical experience that resonates with that person. So you can change lives just by being you and by going through the training and, giving the world what makes you special, So definitely work to go around, and we would be glad to have you on board and part of the team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are around the world. And Jennifer, if you want to hold on, I'll end the stream and then we can debrief.
Sounds good. Bye, you guys.
Bye, everybody.